welcome to Tim and Ren's R.A. Salva-tour. That's T-O-U-R. That pun's gonna get really old really fast. I am Tim James from thoroughbullofdarkness.blogspot.com, your first host.
I'm Ren James from lifeofrenblog.wordpress.com.
That's Ren as in Kylo. Today we had she said Ren and someone looked at her like, what? Yeah, so we're Tim and Ren. We're married. We're starting a brand new podcast where we read through the Forgotten Realms novels of R.A. Salva-tour, one chapter at a time. Chronological, pardon me. We're not doing chronological order, we're doing release order. Yeah, because chronological order, we would start with the Dritz prequels, and that's not what we're going to do. Speaking of which, R.A. Salva-tour, best known for what? We're already in trouble. Who did R.A. Salva-tour create, love? Come on. Let's work on this. He's an elvish type. He's kind of blue. He's got some swords. He's like the Boba Fett of the Dungeons and Dragons universe. Man, too bad only one of us did 5 minutes of research on this. R.A. Salva-tour, best known as the creator of Dritz Do'Urden, the renegade dark elf ranger, Sir appearing in this novel.
Actually appearing in this
Yes, they're actually appearing in this novel. A phenomenon. The dark elf ranger that came before all other dark elf rangers.
Okay. Yeah. This is my first time reading any R.A. Salva-tour.
Yeah, but your dad is a fan, we assume. Because it seems like the kind of thing your dad would be into.
I can ask him.
Okay, we'll ask him some other time. Okay, so like I said, this is going to be a podcast that goes through the books according to release order, which means we're beginning right where we ought to begin with the Crystal Shard. I've got some background on the man himself, R.A. Salva-tour. He's from Leominster, Massachusetts. I believe he still lives in Massachusetts. Before he was a writer, he was a bouncer.
Well, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. He claims that he has integrated his experiences as a bouncer into the fighting scenes in the novels. We'll see about that. I learned that from Wikipedia, guys. He was, before he became a novelist, obviously an advanced Dungeons and Dragons player. Which factored into his interest in writing a Forgotten Realms novel. Crystal Shard is his very first book. He sent it into TSR, Tactical Studies Rules, which is an awful name. Man, we're gonna get ourselves in trouble. TSR, who were then in charge of the Dungeons and Dragons license, back when many of the founders of the game were still alive. And they had just launched a new setting at the time called Forgotten Realms. They had bought it from Ed Greenwood a year or two ago, and they were interested in introducing some new novels. There had only been one so far. And so Salva-tour submitted his first book to them, and they were like, hey, this is pretty good, but this is not what we need right now. Can you write this book except in Forgotten Realms? And he was like, sure. And so he wrote what became The Crystal Shard, which is the first book set in Icewind Dale, which would go on to appear in a lot of Forgotten Realms material, notably Icewind Dale, I assume. I've never played those games at all. I once gave the original Baldur's Gate a try, and I got a little bit in it. And I tried the second one, but the second one begins very much in medias res. That's how you say it, right? I don't Latin. And so there are all these people and you're supposed to know them, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. So didn't really work out for me. But yeah, so this is his first ever published book. Second book ever set in the Forgotten Realms.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's all the background we need before we get into the prelude.
The prelude.
Yeah. Okay, so Prelude opens up in the Abyss, which is, if I understand correctly, where the demons live in the Forgotten Realms universe. We should go ahead and make this very clear. How much tabletop gaming experience is there between the two of us?
I've watched some tabletop games.
You've watched people play Pathfinder, right?
I watched people play Pathfinder.
I've watched people play Pathfinder. That's about it. As a kid, I played the Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance series, or Dark Alliance Baldur's Gate, whichever it was. And quite enjoyed those games. So, but as far as like first-hand experience doing Dungeons and Dragons stuff, like in the way it was intended, our experience combined is 0. Yeah. So, but I've done a little research. We're going to try and do our best not to have anyone who's into Dungeons and Dragons or Forgotten Realms banging their head against the screen or against their phone or whatever. That's a great mental picture, isn't it? So the Abyss, if I understand, is where the demons live. It's a place with giant mushrooms, as we learn, because our guy Ur-2 is sitting in a mushroom.
Sitting on a mushroom.
As one does. So what happens in this chapter? Ur-2's sitting on a mushroom. Telshaz shows up with some bad news about Kryn Shenabon. That's never not going to make me hungry. Yeah. But yeah, so Kryn Shenabon, the Crystal Shard, from the title. R2's looking for it. Telshaz went and found it, except it's not there anymore because an angel gave it a toss. And R2's very cross about that, so he eats Telshaz.
Yum.
Yeah, delicious. So let's talk about these characters we meet so far. We start out with Ur-2 or R2.
Ur-2.
It's got to be Ur-2. It can't be R2. That would be
Ur-2.
R2D2. Where are you? No, it's Ur-2. Yeah.
It's Ur-2D2.
Ur-2D2. Yeah. Start it with Ur-2. Ur-2 is a Baelor. This is according to the Forgotten Realms wiki, so if I get anything wrong, it's not my fault. It was wrong on the Forgotten Realms wiki. He's this sort of Balrogish thing.
Hey, if you think about it, it's like Valor, but bad, because it's the B.
Yeah.
Valor.
Baelor, yeah.
It's the opposite of Valor.
Yeah, so... yeah, he's this Balrogish thing. Bren, give us the breakdown on his essential characteristics.
He's huge, and his alignment is chaotic evil.
Yeah,
which is why he eats Telshaz.
Yeah,
he's evil.
Poor Telshaz. We don't really know anything about Telshaz. He's a demon. His feet are apparently plungers because it mentions that he has sucking footsteps. So I kind of imagine. It could also be that This level of the abyss sounds kind of like it's like
Or-
just a marsh or something. You know, it's talking about slime and all that. So
So it could just be the
Yeah.
sucking footsteps. Just could be just slime.
yeah, but yeah. So there's Telshaz. We know he's a lesser demon of some kind.
And he gets at. Right?
He gets at. We don't know anything else though. So we also introduced to another new character here, Aldemanira, who is a Deva. Ren, give us the essentials on the Deva.
Well, they're like angels, and it's lawful good, and it's a medium size, so not quite as big as Urtu.
Yeah. So, and if you need any more information on Devas, I don't know. We're never going to give you any more than the size and the
think-
alignment.
Yeah,
They've got wings, I think.
Deva.
Yeah. You call it.
I like to say diva.
You say diva, I say Deva. Okay. So our Aldemanir gives the Cinnabon a throw, burns its hands in the process, and so
He threw it because he burned his hand.
yes, burns his hands because
No.
yes, right.
Because
No,
he
you're
burns
right.
his hands first,
And then he's like, ouch,
ouch,
and
and
gives
he
it a
throws
throw, and now it's gone. And Urtu's very cross about that. So let's talk about Crinchinabon.
Crinchinabon.
I'm never going to be able to take that name seriously, no matter how many times I say it.
You call it just Crin for short.
Crin, yeah.
Crin sounds cool. I don't know.
Crench.
Cren.
Maybe we could invent an alternate, like
Crin.
Crinshiniben.
Crinchinabon?
Now it sounds like I'm saying shiny Ben. It isn't
Crinchinabon.
Crinshiniben? Yeah, whatever.
Or
So,
I just...
so the crystal shard in question, it contains the energy of 7 liches or licks. I don't know which one it's supposed to be. I think they call it the. I think they call it the. Yes. Are you sure how it's pronounced?
but...
What are you looking up? We're scrolling back through the thing. Serving 7 licks, combined their evil magic, fed and flourished off. Yeah, so it's the 7 licks made this crystal shard. Well, you can't just read the page. That's a copyright violation, Ren.
I don't know. They talk about the power of the sun, though, too.
Yeah.
That was part of this.
Yeah.
Is it the...
Well, anyways, 7 licks or liches. Do you say licks or liches?
Liches.
Okay, liches. I like it. I feel like it must be. Somebody at least thinks it's lich, because in World of Warcraft you have the Lich King, which is obviously a pun on the Witch King. And if it were the Lick King, that would just be silly, right? That would sound like a Pokemon. Yeah. Okay, so we got this crystal shard, very powerful, very important, we assume. R2 has lost it. Telshaz has lost it too. What do you think's gonna happen to the shard? So it's
someone's gonna find it.
Yep.
And then Urtu is gonna try to get it back and there's gonna be
not
a whole
Telshaz
war.
though, because Telshaz is et.
Because Telshaz is et, so Urtu is gonna have to go trying to get to this thing, and whoever has it has to protect it or something. Maybe they're gonna try to destroy it if because the shard is evil, right? Or is it?
It seems evil.
Or is it just powerful?
I would assume it's both.
Okay, so they could be there could be a mission to destroy the shard, or there could be battle over the shard.
Yeah.
Something along those lines. Those are my theories. Or someone could make it jewelry.
Jewelry.
Yes.
Yeah, that's how this is going to end, with some jewelry.
A jewelry making contest, and then whoever has a shard wins.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Maybe that's how Archie finds it, because he buys it.
So
At the jewelry
making contest. So how do we? So when we originally conceived of this podcast, we were thinking I would be the negative Nancy, and you would be.
I'd be the defense.
The apologist.
I'd be the apologist.
And then you read the first chapter of this book, or the first. You think you read the prelude?
Yes, I read the prelude, and it's not very good.
The dialogue isn't very good, is it? I mean,
it's for me, my problem is, and it's actually similar to like something you were saying. I don't know. Like, and I honestly wouldn't. I mean, Tim had already been kind of, he had a complaint about it, and I was telling him it probably wasn't. I think it wasn't gonna be as bad, and I actually kind of like. I like world building. I like stuff, but it's kind of like he has these just weird asides in the writing, where it doesn't seem to be like. I mean, maybe it's important that we know it, but we're finding it out in such a, like, the whole show, not tell sort of thing. You have to be able to tell some, but it feels like there's a lot of telling.
Yeah, it
where
seems
it's like
he's
this. Like he had served the 7 leeches.
It seems kind of like,
and a leech is this, and this is happening. This is.
There's always a temptation when you do world building to feel like you have to show all of it off. Mm-hmm. To be like, look, I did this, I did this, I did this, and I've read a little bit ahead. I've read the first couple chapters of this book before, years ago, and that's kind of a recurring theme, in that you feel like all the world building that has been done is put in your face at some point. Now, in this case, you know, if so I'm left wondering, so is Urtu is being set up as the main villain here, one would assume, right? But like, so he wants the shard because he wants to climb his way up through some layers of hell. I mean, that can... Here's the thing. A bad guy wanting something because it's powerful can work. Wanting some kind of MacGuffin because it's powerful can work as a plot, right? That's the plot of Lord of the Rings, which is why so many other fantasy novels have this plot. But at the same time, like, his ambition for it seems so modest. Like, oh, I might climb up through a few levels of hell out of this. It seems kind of like, I guess at this point, we don't have a reason, so that we're being, it's implied, the central conflict is going to be Urtu trying to get the crystal shard back. Mm-hmm. But do we have a reason so far why Urtu shouldn't get the crystal shard?
I mean, let him climb through.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm thinking. I mean, let him get his promotion. Let the poor man get or the poor demon get his promotion. Let him become a Balrog manager. Yeah. So at this point, now having read ahead, I do know that we're going to be introduced to a lot more than this. But at this point, I don't know. I will say this. Having read ahead, I'm not sure this prelude actually adds anything to the plot. And I think it actually detracts from a moment we see later on. And I'll talk about that when we get to it. But any other thoughts on the prelude?
Well, see, maybe we don't want him to be promoted because he at poor Telshaz.
R.I.P. Telshaz.
R.I.P. Telshaz. And see,
Never
you
forget.
shouldn't eat your employees.
No, don't do it.
Don't eat your employees. That's why he's not getting his promotion.
He eats his employees.
He eats his employees.
Yeah.
Because no one else wants to get eaten.
He goes in and meets with the other demon lords, and they're like, "Well, we've been having a lot of complaints about somebody getting and we don't want to turn this matter over to HR quite yet, or to think about this." Okay.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, so don't eat your employees, and you might get your promotion.
Yeah.
You don't need a crystal gem. Just don't eat your employees.
Yeah. Okay. That's all for the prelude. We will be back next time with Chapter 1, The Stooge. This has been Tim and Ren's R.A. Salva-tour. Get it. And we'll see you next time.